Welcome back to another episode of Just Jossin' Around. My guest today, Elliot Piper.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Thanks for saying yes and coming in.
Honestly, the easiest decision I've ever made.
Okay.
I saw your podcast. The chairs are comfier than the other
chairs,
podcast.
Yeah, we got the good ones for you. These are the good ones.
Thank you.
Usually, sometimes it's a stool situation, not a lot of back support. This you're supported.
No, thank you.
I'm so excited to have you on. I will say on most of my episodes, Music Bingo is name dropped at least once an episode.
I've seen. It's cool.
I can't help but talk about it. It literally makes me so happy. A lot of people, when I bring up Music Bingo, they see the joy that crosses my face.
I love it. It's ridiculous. There's no like story leading up to how Music Bingo got great. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't be a job. It should not be a job. Certainly not somebody's full-time job.
Yeah.
I like to tell, like, when I do, we do elementary school stuff too, right? So like first through
Really?
fifth
I
grade.
wondered.
We do every possible group of people. And I tell kids, even college kids, I'm like, let me tell you this. If anybody, you know how they say you could be whatever you want?
Yes.
Like, you might not figure this out till you're 30 like me.
Yeah.
But you can be whatever you want.
Yeah.
If you can convince people to hire you for something dumb, do the dumb thing. It works perfectly.
That's so fun. It reminds me, I remember my parents being like, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do in college, like what I wanted to do for a job. And they were like, listen, the job you're going to end up with probably you don't even know exists yet. And I think they meant that in like a medical or like, an engineer, but
like technology is going to come so far. And what's funny is I couldn't imagine saying that to my child now, because at this exact moment, I don't know if the job you want is going to exist, because none of them might exist.
Yes, AI is going to take them all, which is fine. They can't take Music Bingo though.
They can't.
They can't.
At least they need. I don't know. The robots might.
I don't know if they have the charisma that we're bringing to the table.
I don't know. There is the AI comedy podcast. You know which one I'm talking about?
No.
What is it called?
An AI comedy podcast?
Yeah. So it's hosted by two comedians. They're the ones who did the AI George Carlin hour. Oh, have you not heard of this? Oh, sacrilege!
I stay away from AI.
Sacrilege has happened. So. I cannot think of the name of this podcast. The people listening will know the name of it, but they let an AI come up with sets.
Yeah.
And they did a George Carlin Today set. Right? His mannerisms, his voice, and a whole hour. And I can't think of anything more disgusting.
Was it bad?
It was. Let me just give you this.
Yeah.
If you've listened to George Carlin stuff, and any comedian worth their salt knows their George Carlin, it talks about how great AI is. Boom, right there. Right? You know what George Carlin didn't... AI as a narcissist. You know what George Carlin didn't trust above anything else? Large corporations and people. It was in bad taste, to say the least.
I stay away.
Yeah.
I don't mess with AI.
No.
I don't want it. I don't think it... I remember when people were... I remember comics like in the scene, like accusing other comics of having AI write their stuff. And it's like... I don't know. I've from what I've heard from other comics, I think it's like it's still not a cohesive thought. Like whenever they try to put together bits, doesn't sound natural. No. It sounds like AI trying to write comedy.
And also, there's very few comedians out there that can command like the uninterrupted production, right? Like what does AI do when they're interrupted by a weird looking person in the audience, right? The real gold mine is when you're interrupted by the right person and you're like, do you want this? Is attention what you want? Are you sure? I'm going to destroy you.
That's a good point. AI doesn't have the ability to crowd work yet.
No, because it requires, in order to mine comedy gold from a heckler, you need malice. And that's something, there needs to be an ounce of malice in you. Like, sure, it sounds like good fun, but I want you to know that what happens next is driven by hate. I'm going to smile. But I want you to know that the real seed, this flower, is one of hatred for you.
Oh, that's so funny. I did want to ask you though, like, did you ever do any kind of like public speaking before doing Music Bingo, or did you just like throw yourself into it and figure it out?
That's a great. You know what? No, honestly.
Yeah?
So I was a DJ for a long time for wedding DJ, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, it's so funny being an MC for a living because I swore off weddings. I tell people who ask,
Really?
"Can you do our wedding?" And I'm like, "No, I specifically don't do weddings."
Wow, I almost became a wedding DJ before Music Bingo. Yeah.
My thing is, I don't want to be. It's so much pressure.
It is
to be the linchpin in someone's greatest day. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not the pastor who only needs like 20 minutes and he just needs to read off a script. I need to not screw up for 6 hours straight. And I also need to not screw up for people that are drunk, which means that predicting them is no. There's not enough money in the world for me to take that weight onto my shoulders if I don't have to do it.
Seriously.
Right? No,
because it's like I had friends that did it, and it seems like it's more than just you're playing the music. I mean, you're like, you know, dismissing people to eat, and like it's like you could mispronounce someone's name.
Exactly. You could heaven forbid you could dismiss the tables in the wrong order, right? Like, so now I need to be like a liaison, and I need to be a host, and I need to be all these things. And
like, I just want to play the music.
Right? Yeah. I just want to play the music. And here's the thing that I realized was that you could have like the best playlist in the world. Yeah. And you'd be like, I played it in this order last week, and it was roaring the whole time. Yeah. This week, it doesn't work. Same order, same everything. Yeah. And I know that that's part of just like you feel out the crowd. And sure, that's a skill. But if you don't need to do it, well, I don't know why I would. Yeah, you know? Yeah. There's just not enough money. No. I don't want to be... Nobody ever remembers the DJ unless they screw up. So genuinely, I can't remember a single DJ from any wedding I've been to unless the entire crowd was looking at them. Yeah. And somebody's jaw was dropping and people were dropping champagne glasses. Yeah. I remember that guy. Yeah. No, I try to live my life in a way that people don't want to physically attack me. Yeah, it's not a good... No. Yeah, I'm glad I think the company that I was going to do it with, they wanted me to sign this form that was like, it was like a non-compete. Like, so like I couldn't, I couldn't perform anywhere else or do like it. I don't know. It was just sketchy. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. We have people on staff who do work for several different music bingo companies, in fact.
Not me. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
As you know, I'm not talking about you. I was scared. I was like, I thought I was dropping the bomb here, but you're about to. No.
Well, no, I mean, we can bring it up, but like Chris has started at the cross train. When he needs like someone, if I've popped in and filled in for him, and it does feel like I'm cheating, and I'm sorry.
That's okay. Is somebody else paying you? Because that's totally cool with me. Honestly,
okay.
I think you know me well enough, though, that if you were like, hey, I did music bingo at this place.
I know.
You could probably ask to get paid for that, and I might say yes. Like, whatever. That's right. We'll call it a training gig. You're owning your skills for someone else, I guess.
It felt like I ended up like getting the friend I talked to you about getting someone on staff. I was able to like hook them up with that position with Chris, but I did it once and it was a whole different system, and I was like, this feels wrong. This doesn't feel.
I think you know me well enough to know. For anybody listening, I feel just so lucky to have this job, and I have a bunch of people on staff, and every week that we get to keep doing this is like a massive blessing.
It's insane.
I don't get it. I can't tell you why it's popular. I can't tell you why people keep hiring us, but I feel like doing that. If I do, why start asking questions? Why start poking that?
Don't.
I'm going to ride this roller coaster until it inevitably flies off the rails and we all die, you know? And until then, I'm not going to ask why the wheels are squeaking or the seatbelt doesn't work or whatever. Yeah. So like when it comes to what a good business person would do in these situations. Yeah. I don't follow. I'm a great entertainer, and I'm a meh business person. And it's worked out so far.
That's all that mattered. I remember like being like, I just didn't know. I guess I'd never seen you host until like the first time you trained me, and I was like, damn. Like that was like, damn, that is actually, I mean, but that's like good. I think you want the person like leading the company to be the like no one can. Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
So like, and I'm like, whenever someone's like, wow, like you, and like if they compare me, like, yeah, Elliot was good, but you're great too. I'm like, thank you. Because I know you had the
I
best.
love that. I can't tell you how much like I feel like people maybe are afraid to share with me like feedback that they get from people that are like Elliot was fine, but you are amazing, right? No, I want that.
Yeah.
I want that because even by the time you started, I was about 4,000 deep.
That's insane. I remember that. That's insane.
8 years at 2 or 3 a day.
Yeah.
I was at like 4,000 at that point. And yeah, that's hard to replicate, right?
Yeah.
But the only people that know that are the people that have seen me, right?
Yeah.
That I don't need the comparison. I don't want people to be like, well, Elliot should be doing it. I'm like, no, I hired a bunch of people who entertain for a living. Like, don't compare them to me. You just
everyone's so different too on the team. Like, like I genuinely no one. I don't think anyone hosts the same.
No,
and that's what I think makes it.
I think it's kind of difficult to say this, but of all the styles, I think the one that perplexes me the most is Terrence by far.
I would love to hear you talk because Terrence is a comic in the scene.
Yes,
I would love to. I've never seen him host.
I think. Well, the thing is that Terrence hosts a game for 200 plus people every single week. Every single week.
I've done it in a reel.
And
it's insane.
Is not a crowd that listens to you. You ever see that clip of Bill Burr in that city where like
in Philadelphia,
where he was just like, you know what I'm going to do instead?
Yes.
I'm going to waste all 8 minutes.
Yes.
I had 5 minutes. I'm going to waste 8 minutes roasting everybody in this crowd.
Yeah.
And Terrence doesn't roast people, but that's the attitude he brings into it. It's like, I don't care about you or you or you or you. I am here to do a job.
That's so.
And that's what I love about him is that like I can't intimidate him. There's nowhere I could send Terrence Gawith that he would be intimidated. If I put him in front of a crowd, he's going to grab the microphone and in his own loving way be like, shut up, sit down. I'm here.
Like I do need to see him now. I wanted to go when he was celebrating his 1 year at Inner Rail. I just got caught up here actually, but
oh sure.
No, he's so funny. It's so funny because I feel like his comedy style isn't that way, and so hearing you, I'm like, wow, Music Bingo does change you.
I only saw him once. So here's the funny thing. So I wish I could visit my own people more.
Yeah.
There's a lot of trust here because I know everybody on staff is so good in front of a crowd of people that the one time I went to go see Terrence, I was walking into the building and I could hear him yelling from outside the building. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what he's saying.
That you were like,
yes. I was like, that's what I want. I was under the impression at the beginning in a rail that nobody could really talk. You can't really talk to a crowd of 200 people and tell them what to do. But he was screaming, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. But
so great.
Considering I haven't gotten any emails about it, we're probably good to go, you know?
He does so good. And I know, like, I mean, even his setup, like of his equipment, like it's all. I feel like he brings his own table. Like
he might.
I think he does because I've gone to like fill in, and it's just like the quality is so different. Like I do my best, but like I'm very like I don't know. I flirt with the audience if anything.
Oh sure.
They're used to being reprimanded.
Another thing that I love about this job is that the one thing is we do every once in a while we do like a fancy hotel, like the autograph collection. The autograph collectioneer. And this is my attire. And I know it's going to be a black tie affair for everybody else. But I go into it, and maybe this just helps with like the self-esteem. Yeah. But I'm just like, you hired me. And you didn't give me a dress code. So slippers and khakis is what I've got on today. And same way with the speaker, like you spent a lot of money on this. And the guy just walked in with a bag and a speaker on his shoulder. And I'm like, yeah, this is it. Everything is in this bag. This is the speaker. And I'll try to like tape down the cord so it looks professional, but I don't need to do that.
No, you're like, I'm being nice.
That's aesthetic. Yeah, that's if you don't want me to to like sour the mood you have here.
It's funny you bring up dress because during the holiday season, when all those holiday parties, I would like, I remember texting you being like, hey, like, what's the dress code? You were like, don't worry about it. But it's because like I would dress down and then go to an event where people are wearing like dresses, or then I dressed up for this thing that I thought it was that one huge party for like the Nebraska Spine people.
Oh, yeah.
And so I dress up and then I show up to this like ballroom. People are in onesies. And I was like, all right, it wasn't that deep.
I don't ask a lot of questions, believe it or not. I say to book, I need to know when, where, how many people.
Yes.
That's it. You tell me that and you're on the calendar. I don't know. I rarely get like a dress code. And if they want us to dress nice, they just better say so up front.
They have to.
Because, yeah. I don't, when it comes to entertaining people, comfort is like number one. Yeah. I'm one. You can't do anything don't let them be comfortable. Happy, or I don't want to say happy entertainers because a lot of entertainers aren't happy, but we do a great job. We use that energy. We use that energy to do our jobs. Right. I don't want to say a happy entertainer, but a comfortable entertainer. Somebody that can go into it with nothing holding them back. Like, I had to wear these shoes or this stupid vest with flare on it, like that. Ooh, that'd be a whole day. Oh, speaking of outfits, I have to show you this.
Show me.
I was going to wear this on the podcast today, but I haven't fit into it for about 13 years, and my life's goal is to fit into it again.
What?
I wasn't sure if you would think I was going to do like a Carrot Top thing where like I brought my props.
No, listen, we have prop comics in the scene.
Do you really?
Yes, we do. And so nothing can shock me at this point.
Are you ready for this?
Oh my God.
This is
what is that?
My Nicolas Cage sweater outfit. So
it's
right
pants.
That, and it does come with pants as well.
Wow.
It was my favorite outfit, and it fit me for 4 months.
Okay.
And I wore it to a backyard party once, and then I just never
again.
Never fit into it again.
So you pull up to a gig.
I want to.
Yeah.
Like, it's a goal. But then, like, if I ever get into that shape again, I'm going to be like, I have to pick the gig. Or, knowing me, there's two possibilities. Either I'll be like, I need to pick the perfect gig to wear this outfit, or I'll wear it straight for 2 months. At every gig, just to like, I'll be like, I want to capture the magic, and I think the best way to do that is the shotgun approach, and just the magic will find me if I just wear my lucky outfit.
You pulled that out, and I'm not gonna. I did think it was Jerry Seinfeld.
Did you?
I did. And I was like, wow, he's like a fan of comedy.
Oh.
Like, and then you said Nicolas Cage, and I was like, that's actually probably better.
No, this is so much better. I like Jerry's. I mean, when it comes to like pioneers, especially in the TV show format.
Yes.
I want to give Larry David more credit.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I always go with it. Like, I'm like, I love Seinfeld, but it's because I love Larry David.
Right.
Yeah.
It's because I love Larry David. And also Jerry Seinfeld he was a bit creepy back in the day. So.
Dude, this is so, he was. That's what I heard. I hear by word of mouth that he was a creepy.
Yeah. Well, he this is probably... You know that song, "Here I Go Again" by Whitesnake? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I know you know the song. There was a lady named Tawny Katan. She was the one dancing on the hood of Whitesnake's car, and she gets referenced all over the place. Like the song 1985.
Okay, yeah.
Bowling for Soup, SR-71. They were, she was going to dance on the hood of Whitesnake's car. That's about Tawny Katan, the first lady to dance on the car.
Oh, yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld was so powerful in the early 90s. It's a true story. He asked his agent, he goes, I want to date the girl who danced on Whitesnake's car. And he did. Like, that's,
wow.
I can't imagine how great. And you know what? The more I think about it, if I think Jerry Seinfeld is a little, like, into himself, God, he's earned it probably,
maybe, but I don't know. There's this like one documentary. It's just called Comedian, and it's him, and it's have you seen it?
No.
Oh, it's him and it's Orny Adams, and they have the same agent, so it's like following both of their careers, and you can just see his ego unfold, and like
sure.
It's so crazy, and I was like, damn it, because I grew up like watching him with my dad, and I was like. And then, the classic just coming into adulthood and, like, seeing things for how they are.
Right.
Like, this guy actually sucks.
Oh, you don't want to meet your heroes.
Yeah. It ruins it.
I actively avoid, like, if I really, really love somebody, the best thing you could possibly do for yourself is to just hold on to that and just never let it go. Don't never willingly learn anything about them.
Exactly. Me with Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
This is my third week in a row bringing it up. This is my third week in a row bringing it up because I can't let it go. I can't let the bad news about her get to me because I love her so much.
I know. I tell people at our gigs, I'm like, if I play a Madonna song, I'm like, if you are a fan of Madonna and you just haven't looked up a picture of her recently. Just don't.
Just don't.
Take your
don't worry about
loving idea of Madonna to your grave.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone change your mind. There's so many things that I've learned about my heroes against my will that have changed my mind about them, and I don't like it. I didn't want to know. All right.
I was living happily before.
Yes.
Especially when it's like, I don't know, music. Comedy, I can like get over it because I'm like, oh, piece of shit, there's more comedy. But, you know, like I feel like, I don't know, music, I'm like, damn, I really like that song.
I know.
But it's fine.
I know.
It's always crazy when something happens like in the news and then like going to a music bingo gig and you're like, well, I have to bring this up now because there's like 3 of these songs on this playlist. Like, and it's always, sometimes it's depressing. Sometimes it's.
Oh, when that news came out, luckily it blew over. But when the Lizzo news came out.
Oh my, I do remember, yeah.
This was immediately after I had printed 50,000 bingo cards with more Lizzo. Like if it was an ad for Music Bingo, you'd see like one of those yellow stars with like 50% more Lizzo on it. And then that news came out, and I was like, I swear to God.
That is actually
I swear
so
to God,
funny.
let this blow over. If this turns into a Kanye situation, I'm going to be so mad. There was a point where I couldn't play Kanye
Yeah, there's no
anymore.
Kanye, right? On any of the playlists, I don't think.
Not if I can, like there's, on the old ones, yes, but no, not anymore. Here's the thing. You rock stars in general, right? If you want to treat it like I'm only going to have good moral rock stars, well, you are you are shit out of luck.
Yes.
Because it might not even exist. I don't know.
Everyone's bad.
And before the age of the internet, I don't want to know. What do you think the Rolling Stones have been up to for 65 years, right? I bet it's not good. Bet it's not good, right? So then the Lizzo stuff comes out. But here's the thing about Kanye is I'm like, you just like crossed a like you can't go full hate mode.
Yeah.
Like, you can't
It was
be
too
like
far.
Hitler was okay. Nope. Like that's oh shoot.
Yeah.
I can't. I can dismiss R. Kelly because it's now it's like, hey, this guy's a huge piece of shit.
And we all
But wasn't the Space Jam soundtrack awesome, right? Like if anything, I can make a joke about R. Kelly. I can't make a joke about a guy who thinks that Hitler is great.
Yes. I get that.
Yep. It's like a one line. It's like one of the very few lines you can't cross.
Yeah.
It's like full steam ahead.
I remember when that happened, but also, I remember when Lizzo happened, then going to a gig and being like, I don't know where we stand with her right now, but this song is great.
Yeah. Yep. Gonna wait to see the evidence or whatever. Yeah, we do the devil's advocate thing all the time. We're going to wait till all the facts come out. It's what we're going to do. Right?
Exactly.
No, just don't meet your... It's awful because I just...
Yeah.
Again, against my will, learning things about people that I don't want.
And I try not to. I stay blind. I don't look at the news. I don't care.
Nope.
Especially, and I'll say it again, Ariana Grande, I'm a stan, and I don't care.
Do you want to tell me what you learned that is so awful?
Apparently she's a homewrecker and just, no. It's just there's a lot of things, and I just can't stand it because I love her voice.
Yeah.
I think she's really pretty. And so
she's got a great voice. When I introduce her songs, sometimes I'm like, this is, like Nickelodeon and Disney put out 30 singers a year or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Ariana's like one of the few ones that can actually sing. Like, hey.
Seriously, though.
She doesn't need to be auto-tuned or given like novel songs. She's a great, incredible singer.
She is great.
But as we all learn all the time, they're just people. Like, here's the funny thing I think about is that like, I want my artists to be these monoliths where everything they do is great.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to remember that they're just people. Yeah. And how do I feel about just people?
You're like, from a distance, great.
Don't like people.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, if I'm very honest with myself, I don't want to know people. No. So when I have to reconcile that with my brain, like, oh, also your favorite musicians and artists are also just people. And I'm like, well, I probably wouldn't like them then.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, if I got close to the situation.
Right? Like the thing about Lizzo is that, so she would take her entire crew out and get drunk at strip clubs and things like that. And what's a normal person going to do? Spend a whole night drunk at a strip club and not have something to apologize about the next day? Who's successfully pulled that off? Well, can you think of a time that you got super drunk and then the next day you had nothing to apologize for? It's almost unfair.
Oh my God.
It should just be a conversation between Susan and Carol that's like, you know that thing I did last night? I am so sorry about that. But Susan doesn't sue Carol, you know, she doesn't write a letter to the New York Times. We're just holding people to these impossible standards.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, when you put it like that.
Yeah. We all spend our 20s apologizing for the things we did when we were drunk. There's no...
Yeah, I tried just not to get...
No doubt. Oh, I'll tell you what, working in bars,
it can happen so easily. You're like, it's a Tuesday night. Like, what's happening?
I try to remember. Oh no, I don't want to say anything bad about our.
Okay.
No, you know what? I try to think about it as like, I go out on a Tuesday night.
Yes.
Can I call myself a decent human being if I spend Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at a bar getting completely wasted? I'm like, no, I don't think I can. Like, I should remain professional in some way. So after 4,000 gigs, you do just sort of get like, I have exactly how many drinks I can have.
You just know
how long I'll be there.
Yeah.
And I get in and get out. Like,
yeah.
Nothing good can happen after we'll call it a set or a gig. Yeah. After my set is done, nothing good's happening
exactly.
after this. If I did a great job and everybody clapped at the end, which doesn't always happen. We don't need that. But but sometimes people clap, which is at the private parties they clap.
Private parties people like actually appreciate.
They do. You get applause, which is not something that I came into this game for. Yeah. I know. I'm like, do my little curtsy and I'm like, thank you. Yeah. But then you get out because you did a good job.
Yes.
You sticking around afterwards, not just take the win and go sort of thing.
Exactly.
So it makes it a lot easier to work in a bar and not get drunk. Because when I first started this game, I hung out afterwards. And wow, I don't know. You have to, as an entertainer, I feel like you have to decide on day one, am I eventually going to get a DUI or am I never going to get a DUI?
This is something it's something in the comedy scene too, where it's like people, it's like so normalized to drink like people are just like, oh yeah, like you are going to do that. Like
you got to decide up front because people just get caught eventually, right? Yes. But I say, this is how long I'm going to be here. This is how many drinks I can have. Yeah. And then I get out before that because I did not used to do that. Mm-hmm. And without admitting to any legal fault of any kind, I was not responsible. Yeah. But that's how you end, right? Yeah. Like, there's very few things I could do that could end this, but going to jail for a considerable amount of time, that's one of them. That's one of them.
Yeah, that would not be fun. I like this job and I don't want anything to interfere with it.
A sideways part of that is like I want my daughter is 10 now. Yeah. But when she's older and she starts dating, I dream. Here's a great thing about being an entertainer is I dream of looking at one of her boyfriends in the eye and saying, you know, I could go to jail for a little while and still not lose my job. I just want you to know that a short jail sentence for me doesn't do anything. Doesn't ruin my life in any way. I don't run background checks on myself. Do you understand? You know, like that day. I'm going to be so proud that day because that's a lot of work that went into that sentence. I'll be like, it all added up. Yeah. To this. Yeah. There's no Oscar at the end of my career, but there is a looking into the face of a teenage boy and telling you that I can hurt him without repercussion. Ooh, power.
That's what we do it for. That's what you do it for.
That's right.
That's really funny. Oh my gosh, that's great. I don't know. I kind of wanted to bring up I don't know. I feel like recently I've gotten into these very weird situations at gig. I haven't talked about this on the podcast, but I've talked about it on stage. Most recently, I was in Gretna, and a man called me a bitch for not playing Adele, which kind of valid, but I don't mess with the playlist.
Adele, what a perfect person to pick if you're going to call somebody a bitch.
I know, that's why I was like, I get it. Rolling in the Deep really does go hard. Like I get it. But like eventually the playlist played it and he thinks I'm playing it for him. I'm not, but I call him out. I'm like, I saw you call me a bitch. And he was like, no, I didn't. Oh. And then at the very end, after I play Adele, he comes up with $100 and he's like, I'm sorry for calling you a bitch. And I'm like, see, you admitted it.
This is a great story because it puts me in a weird position. Yeah. When you told that story at the beginning, I read the first two sentences and I was like, I need to call the bar.
Yeah, you're like, this is a problem.
This is not the first time that my people have been accosted at your bar. Maybe you need to start, you know. And then you're like, he gave me $100 afterwards. I'm like, well, what do I do now? Yeah. I'm supposed to stand up for you. Do you I wanted to just side text you and be like, do you need Do you want me to?
No, I was. Honestly, the money made it. I was like, thank you. I literally was like, thanks. Like,
I would like to point out that is not an endorsement for anybody. You can't pay to assault people.
Can't.
You can't. It worked out this time.
This time it was fine. It was so funny too because like it was a teacher's like fundraiser. So I'm like, this guy probably was like, I gotta cover my bases. I cannot just be rogue calling this girl a bitch. Over Adele is crazy.
Over Adele too.
It's just so funny. But I wanted to ask you. You've been doing this a very long time. Do you have like stories that stick out to you? I'm sure there has to be some. Like I feel like everyone has weird.
There's your basic ones. One thing that won't surprise anybody is that I mostly do. Well, this will surprise them, but not what happens there.
Yeah,
I do senior centers most of the time. So
Hello.
My day job is mostly doing music bingo at senior centers, and there is never. In my life, I have never met a more handsy group of folks.
That's so, and they get away with it probably.
They do. I let them.
Yeah.
I don't. This is such a weird thing to say now, and I don't want to push my values on anybody else. My thought is, earned it, right?
Like
you're 92 years old, right? You're 92 years old. What they will do is they sit at a table with a big bingo card, and I say, if you need help finding stuff on your card, just raise your hand. The one sitting at the end of the table will raise their hand, and I will come around their left side, and their hands, as soon as they see me, will go, and they will pat me right in the crotch. Happens all the time.
That's crazy.
It's a planned maneuver. I've seen it coming, and I know because sometimes I will swoosh, right?
Yeah.
And their hands will still go like that, and I'm like, you knew I was coming around the corner.
That's wild.
But that's the thing. I'm like, yeah, I earned it. Fine. I know it's not popular at the moment to say that, but I am also talking about a 92-year-old woman. I'm sorry. I'm not,
Yeah.
Not saying you should adopt that
for
people all around your life, but I let them get away with it.
It's really nice of you,
It is.
Elliot.
Really. And also people tell me all the time, they're like, they think that like I'm on the hunt for like a sugar mama, right?
Yeah.
But again, I've done 4,000 of these. You'd get a reputation if I started hitting on old women. I'd have a different newspaper article,
Yeah.
But I should start asking as if ever I want to retire, like maybe I meet. She's like, "Hi, I'm Susan Rockefeller," and I'm like, "Oh well, hey, hey, old man, can you move out of your seat?
Yeah.
I need to sit next to this lady now." I also, so I'm always planning ahead. Like I live my life in a way where somebody doesn't want to physically assault me. I said that before, and one of the things I tell people all the time, I'm like, one part of working in bars and stuff is you inevitably get intertwined into people's lives, right? And first off, there's a very thin line between being a great MC and a colossal tool. And that line for me is you cross that line the moment you start hitting on people at your own gigs, right?
Oh my, yeah.
Yeah, you could be the best DJ in the world. And the moment you start, you cancel all that out. So, but when I was younger and I was drinking bars, it becomes this, you can't control that. So, but then you meet a lot of married women in bars. So I made a choice at some point. I don't know if there was like an inciting incident or anything like that. But I was like, you know what? I want to live my life in a way that another grown man doesn't wake up at his house today like, today's the day I kill Elliot Piper.
Yes.
Like I just don't want to. Don't make your list, right?
Yeah.
So that I literally forgot where I led into that story.
No, but it does bring up a good point of like I've never hit on someone during a bingo gig. That I've known that people maybe
You've been hit on though.
I have been hit on though during a gig, and then I'm like, hey man, listen, you're 42. It's not
right.
You've lived too.
You can't force self-awareness on people. No. You can just give them the look that's like,
yeah, I do. I get, and I'm like, hey, so what my problem is like, it's not really a problem, but I will say my style is flirtatious. I do a joke where I'm like, if I can't give out any more bingos, I'm like, I can give you a forehead kiss. And
oh really?
Yeah. What? It's a joke.
I was not told about this.
Okay, no, I don't do forehead kisses, but I kind of want to get a stamp of like a kiss or something. Yeah. But like
nice.
Listen, the ladies love it.
I bet. I bet. You know, if I did that at the senior center, there would be hips broken. I could crowd surf in that room if I said that.
It's like, I don't know. It's like a throwaway, or I'll say like words of affirmation or something.
Yeah.
Just something that's like, I don't have regular prizes left.
So
all right. And there was only like one time, and I think it was like in New York, where someone was like, came up to me and was like, and I was like, listen, it's by my discretion.
I'm allowed to offer. You're not allowed to ask.
But then I was like, I gotta rephrase it differently, because that happened. I was like, well, now there's a fault in my plan.
Oh, my plan's working a little too well.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm just trying to,
There's one thing when it comes to like getting insurance and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Our insurance is low, but that's because I can assure the insurance company that we're not touching people, and we're not.
And then here I am, like, I'll give you.
So if you're my insurance company and you're listening to this, she doesn't actually
I'm just
kiss
kidding.
people.
I never do, ever. I would never.
It's okay.
My mom won't let me.
The rates came down after one thing happened. So the song "I've Had the Time of My Life" from Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
I used to offer a $20 bill to anybody who could lift their partner above their head.
You know
right?
what? This makes me feel better immediately.
Yes.
This makes me. Thank you for telling this
So
story.
I did this for almost like 2 years. I'd say $20 if you can lift your partner above their head like they do in the movie. Turns out, that's an extremely difficult. That's like impossible to do.
Yeah, it's really
right.
hard.
You can handle it for like 1 second if your partner jumps really high, but you can't hold them up there.
No.
One person won at backswing in Lincoln because they held a baby. They pulled the baby out.
Yeah.
Pulled the baby out. And put it on their head.
They gave
I've been
birth.
waiting for this.
Yeah.
And I gave them $20. But then we went to go get insurance because I hired people, and they're like, "Tell me everything." And I stupidly told them that, and they're like, "Oh, you don't do that anymore.
No.
You don't do that.
Yeah.
You don't ask people to do dangerous things. This is a fear factor." So, yeah.
Okay. Well.
Insurance out to ruin the fun.
Perfect.
of course.
No, that's great. I've never kissed foreheads.
Oh, good.
If that's what I've never kissed a forehead on the job. I never would. I would never kiss someone's forehead.
Just don't tell me. I don't know about things I don't know about.
That's
right?
crazy. That's insane.
I don't know about things I don't know about, and that works in a courtroom.
Yeah, no. I want it on camera that I've never kissed someone's forehead during a musical bingo gig.
We have to give disclaimers out every once in a while. Like I tell people, my Ozzy Osbourne trivia is this. This is a true story. Ozzy Osbourne has been studied like physically by medical organizations. He has a genetic mutation, true story, that makes him more likely to survive poison and drug overdoses than a normal human being. Meaning, we have our first verified X-Man, and his superpower is not dying from drugs. He has like an internal Narcan thing going on.
Wow, that's
right?
crazy.
And I do have to tell people like that is, by the way, not my endorsement.
You're like, please don't.
The music people does not suggest that you.
Yeah, never.
If you take one look at Ozzy Osbourne, you can be like, well, it's probably not a good idea. He's alive in like the clinical sense. Like
he is, but
his heart is still beating.
But there's nothing.
There's not much going on.
Sometimes I see clips, and it's like someone said, it was a clip of him, and someone was like lobotomy core. Like I was like, damn, that's crazy.
That's not wrong. That's not a terrible observation.
It was so funny.
Like I want to get mad at it, but I also be like, I got nothing to.
It's kind of
back up.
Hit it on the money.
I'm certainly not going to be the one to argue Ozzy's not that. No.
I'll let him have it. So you're getting, groped at the senior center. Mm-hmm. Anything else that's happening to you on the regular?
There's over the years, so many weird things have happened.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing that like, you work in front of random people all the time.
Yeah.
Things happen all the time. I wish there was something that really.
I guess maybe that's why I'm like, to me, it does feel like, I don't know. It feels like it happens often, or at least positionally. I always feel like I'm in a funny situation. Like maybe what was it 2 weeks ago? The gig. What's that town called? I can't pronounce it.
Where I was in, or where you were in.
You called me last minute to go to a gig in
Valparaiso.
That was the funniest thing to arrive onto.
Yes,
because that really just I was like, wow, like people like mark their calendars for this. Like this is.
Oh, I know.
People. Man. It was like I've started saying it in my stand up, but like people I was like an EMT arriving on the scene of an accident. Like people were like trying to help me out of the car. Like,
yeah, of course they were.
Because they knew once my car pulled up, it's such a small town. There were people standing outside helping me with the equipment, the cards, all that stuff. They were ready, and it was packed.
See what I love about that is you have just sort of exacerbated my feelings of failure at not arriving at that gig. No, it's okay. It's okay. No, I work all that out internally as well. But you're absolutely right. I let some folks down the other week.
No, they were fine. I'm telling you, I mean, it ended up being fine. They thought it was me though, and I was like, it's not, but thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, they had a great time.
They had such a good time.
But oh boy.
I was like, I'm so glad it worked out though, because like walking into that, I was like, oh man.
See, the real tough one is I'm back there next week, and what you felt walking in there, I'm gonna get the opposite feeling.
No, not true.
I'm the guy that didn't show last time. So.
No, not true. It was a good time. They had fun. I mean, people were dancing and like up. I was like, wow, the energy is like. I love gigs like that though, because I'm like, I just get this like zest for life again.
Yeah. Well, it's a small town.
Yeah.
And like what you can be sure of out in Valparaiso is that place was packed.
Yes.
Although if you know how big Valparaiso is, that's everyone. They're all there.
I believe it.
The guy left the gas station counter to come and play Music Bingo, you know? He put a sign up. He's like, if you need to pay for gas, just leave cash on the counter. Small towns like that, you know?
Yeah.
They leave the cash on the counter or come buy me a drink down at the Vintage Cork. It was just a lovely place, and that's where we do that.
Yes, and it's wonderful. It reminded me of, there used to be a place like that in like, I don't remember what it was called. Started with the, I don't know where it was. It was I don't know. Those like small towns in Nebraska that just have those like dope places. And I'm like, I do prefer doing bingo there than doing stand up there because, you know, unless they're like really cool.
Right. I think what I love about bingo is that it is structured just enough that if I don't have anything to say, I don't need to.
The game just goes
because I'm, you know.
Yeah.
One of the things I look for when I hire people is like just people who look at a microphone and they want to pick it up. Like nobody has to tell them to pick it up. There's a crowd of people and there's a microphone and they're like, well, I could just say one quick thing.
I just gotta one thing.
Say
out.
one thing real quick.
Yeah.
And you can just say one thing and then drop the mic and I'd still be like, get me that girl's number. And I want her on the team.
Yes, which is honestly, that's how Brittany, one of our hosts, I think got on. She just came to a music bingo.
Took a video of her dancing at one of our gigs, and she now hosts the gig she was found dancing at.
That is so.
In fact, within weeks, she was the host of that one.
That's
a lot
crazy.
Of teachers on staff, I noticed.
We do have a lot of teachers because they just have that like who?
Three of them. Three. Yeah.
It makes sense because it's like that like I don't know, to be able to like instruct a crowd, because I get frustrated. I feel like people don't take me serious and I go over the rules and then they're like, wait, what? And I'm like,
I think what they're so good at is that like a lot of times our crowds, they need to be treated like children.
They do.
And the teachers, there's got plenty of practice there.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay, I'll just revert. I'll just, you know, I was gonna treat you guys like you
adults.
We're adults, but you're not ready for that. So, Mike, one of the guys who works with, he used to make a joke about like, I can get you some crayons if you just want to color. You know, like that's how he handled hecklers. Yeah. Everybody's got their own style. Yeah. Honestly, until I get an email about it, everybody's free to do whatever they want. It's freestyle for everybody.
And I don't know. I felt like the last gig, which I no longer do, but the last gig I did, it was tough because it was this group of people that would meet from Omaha chill.
I've heard.
And they would come and like the way that they bonded was to make fun of me. Like
That's so
awful. Like, you fucking losers. Like,
that's so awful.
That's what I'm saying. And so I was already like not having a good time. And I'm like, I'm glad you guys are fucking friends. But like,
they are the ones who went to another one of our gigs.
Yes.
And they would boo every time someone wins.
Yes.
Now, I'm all about freestyle, but I am not trying to foster an environment where people get booed all the time. Like, this isn't an Andrew Dice Clay show, right? But that's what they were making it. And so they transferred to yours. They were told they couldn't boo people at our other gigs, so they went theirs. And also, Like, what a weird situation for you to be in. I feel special, but also I hate this so much. The connection you guys have formed is at the expense of me.
Yes,
because you love making fun of me.
Like, it was awful. So, like, oh my gosh, the dirty looks I would get, God, they just really were getting my goat a little bit. And then the one time I yelled at them, actually, I think it was a different table, but a child won, and I gave them a gift card. And then I watched another, like, the booing thing was happening, and then someone flipped off the kid, and I was like, oh no, we do not do that.
This is not, now, from an outside perspective of somebody who just hears these stories, OmahaChill.com. I bet you guys have some great outings.
I bet you do. I bet.
But I'm going to be honest. All I know about OmahaChill.com is that at least one of you, groups of you guys, are a real piece of shit. Just trash people, flipping off children.
Yeah, and I scolded. I was like, don't you dare ever.
People bonding over hating you is such a funny thing.
I feel like it is very funny.
Like if you got beat up in middle school by a group of kids, they're like, "Are you okay?" And you're like, "It's beautiful what they have." Their friendship is so inspiring.
It's gonna last a lifetime. Yeah. No, it was literally that because it was like I was getting ganged up on. I don't even remember what like they would say to me. The booing was always a thing, but. It was like, and I wouldn't always hear it, but I would say something and then they'd have something smart to say back and I'd be like, I didn't hear it. Turn up the music.
What a way to make your job so much harder too. Like I feel like having to take a moment to address shitty people. It's not we differ from a comedy set in that way. You can lean into those people.
Yes,
but we sort of have a thing to do. So
we're like
we can't get off track.
Yeah,
we can't get off track. We have to keep rolling through. I don't like it. I'm glad we got you out of there.
I know. I'm glad too. I haven't had a problem with bad. There was one people. Well, this was this one crazy gig that I did. It was at Urban Farmhouse in Lincoln where they paid me to do stand up afterwards.
That's right.
A lot for 15 minutes of comedy, and I was like, are you sure? Like, I literally was like, are you sure? I'll give it back. Are you sure?
By the way, for as much money as I was paying.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I walked out of that gig and just sat in my car like, what just happened?
That is the coolest part about that's the other thing about working with random people every single week. Is that you genuinely don't know what could happen.
Exactly. And I love it. But there was, at the beginning of that, I was like, God, I just was like, because I showed up at I had the wrong address. Like, I showed up there, so I was kind of a little aggravated. But I still had a good attitude. But this guy was very drunk and he came up and he was like, I want to say something in the mic. And I was like, it's actually illegal. Like, I was like, I can't give you the mic. Like,
whatever you got to do.
Yeah, I was like, I actually can't give you the mic. And then everyone was like, give him the mic. And I was like, you know what? It's a private party. You guys take the mic. Yep. So I give him the mic. And then he is telling some Arbor Day fact. I don't even remember why he brought it up. And I was like, it bombs very bad. And then he gives me the mic back, and I was like, all right, that's why I don't give out the mic. And everyone was like, yeah.
That is sick. That guy set it up.
I was like
I wouldn't have wasted 45 seconds setting up a joke to make fun of you, but thank you for doing that for me.
Yeah,
That's a lesson you got to learn once.
Yeah.
And it's the awkwardness, and it's the reluctant. He gave you the mic back, right?
He did give me the mic back, but it was just like, I was like, you're making an example to everyone here.
That doesn't always happen. Yeah. Sometimes you don't get the mic back.
Scary.
And then suddenly you are like, oh no, this is a theft situation.
You're like, I need that.
I learned a long time ago doing weddings. Like, I only had to learn this once. A lady was just like, I want to sing this song. And I'm like, I don't do that. And she's like, I'm not kidding. I can sing. She was like, I can sing. Now, nobody else was around. She's like, I am the cousin of the bride. I can sing. And I was like,
I'm the cousin of the bride.
Oh my gosh, whatever. And I handed the song. And she just don't stops believing's.
Oh, bad? Was it bad?
This microphone.
Okay, hey, let it rip. She's good.
Like it was that.
But that was good.
Sure.
Okay.
But not good. She was screaming. There was like a rough, there was like the rough.
Yeah.
That's what was going on. And I was like, I have made a huge mistake.
Yeah.
And then she wouldn't give it back. So
that's so.
See, the worst part about that is I can't just go back to my station and be like, okay, well, done with that situation. The situation's not over until I get the microphone back.
Yeah. I need
nothing
that.
is fixed.
Yeah.
This is a situation I want to fix, but nothing is fixed while she has the microphone. And that was before. nowadays I would just unplug a microphone and swap out.
We have Bluetooth.
But yeah, we have Bluetooth now, and
Can't.
the situation's not. I would never hand off control because it's not about maybe you're great. It's about whether you're willing to relinquish that control after I give it to you. I'm giving you a lot of power here. And physically, I don't think I can physically take it from you. So,
and that's what, and I always feel like, it's the same feeling of like when I nanny and a kid's like really well behaved and then they act up, they take advantage of me. Yeah. It's like that feeling with like, I'll like be bonding with someone and I'm like, ladies having a good time and they're like, well, give me the mic. And I'm like, no, we were having fun.
I think about it, of all of the tapes or live comedy shows you've ever been to, even with a wireless mic. Now, most everybody use wired, but you've always seen a comedian go like this.
Yeah.
You've never seen them physically hand the microphone to somebody.
And they never will.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
I think they've all learned at some point.
Yes.
That you don't know.
No, because you're not getting it back. And that's what I started telling people it's illegal. And then people are drunk enough to be like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah.
Yep, cops will be here.
Yeah, it's like I can't do it.
I love that.
It's really fun.
The government, man.
Sucks.
What do you do? Blame it on the government.
Yeah, it's where your taxes are going.
You need to lobby Congress to. I want the microphone bill. To give me the Microphone Act.
Oh my gosh!
I've earned a right to the microphone.
That's great. I prefer that over. There was another gig that comes to mind where I got on the mic and the man was like, "What did he say?" He was like, "Talk deeper or shut it off." Like my voice was too. He said my voice was like squeaky.
Oh.
He was. I know. And now I'm like, I'd never been. I've been. I guess I would say I'm not like truly insecure. Yeah. But then he said it, and I was like, "Damn, is it a problem?"
Oh. I love when people like comment on things you can't change.
I know. Whatever happened to if you can't fix it in 5 seconds, don't.
I don't remember what it was. At somebody's birthday party a couple years ago, we had this game where, I don't remember what it was. You like flip a quarter, and if it lands on a thing, you label it a dare or something.
Oh,
right?
okay.
And the dare that I put on the table was, if you land there, you have to call your mom and tell her that she laughs funny or that you don't like her laugh.
Oh,
and I was
that's
like,
so mean.
Immediately after I did that, I was like, I immediately feel awful.
Yeah.
If I stopped the one guy who was actually going to do it, like, do not call your mom.
No.
And tell her that for the last 52 years, she's been laughing in a way that you don't like. I'm like,
it will do damage.
Yes. I thought it was funny as a concept.
Yes.
There's so many things I find funny as a concept.
Yeah. And then you see, you're like,
don't enter that part of the brain. There's so many things I find funny in theory.
No.
Comedy rarely comes from a happy, everything worked out in the end place.
Yeah.
Rarely is a funny story have a happy ending.
It's funny. I want to know, like, I want to talk to other comics who I need to get Terrence on at some point because I'd love to know, like, because for me personally, I think that's like, I feel like the skill that other music bingo hosts have is they can like separate themselves from the game. Whereas like if I feel like it's like the energy of like a bomb, but it's like you can't bomb with bingo. No. It's almost impossible to bomb and then like cue up Rihanna. It just doesn't happen.
I agree. I have one aside from that I have my worst bomb ever. I told this story a while back. This sort of gig happens every once in a while, but this is during COVID.
Yeah.
Right? During COVID, I was already full swing. In March 2020, I made a post on Facebook that was like, I can't believe how big we're getting. I just hired 4 people. And then March 2020 hit. And I was
were like,
well,
yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. Every time Facebook reminds me of that, I'm like, thanks. But during that time, this church hired me to do music bingo. One of the largest churches
I was
going to
ask if we did churches.
Oh, we do churches all the time.
Let's go.
Yeah. I could go into why churches are such a good place sometimes, but I won't.
I might follow up.
They party. They party. All that guilt has to go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Right to the bottom of a Smirnoff Ice. That's where it goes. Anyways, this church hires me, and I am in the largest auditorium I've ever been in. They have balcony seats in front of the stage, but because it was COVID, they had everybody sit facing me, but one seat in between each other.
Oh wow!
So no physical interaction between each other.
Yeah,
only staring at me as if I was to be the entertainment the entire time.
Yeah.
And during my gigs, I dance, I sing, I air guitar.
Yes.
99% of the time. If a song is playing, I'm air guitaring and I'm jumping around. But that is only for the benefit of people who are looking at each other, friends in a group.
Yeah.
None of these people wanted to be here. None of them wanted to be here, and they were looking at me. They had nothing to drink. And for 90 minutes, I am jumping around the stage. And they got the stage lights on me, too, which I've never been a fan of stage lights, but I'm sweating.
Yeah.
And I'm sweating more because part of this job is looking out at people's faces.
Yeah.
One thing that's different than a stage show is that, like, I don't do stage lights because I want to see how people are reacting to the music I picked.
Yeah.
That helps me pick other stuff in the future. But that also means that I can see all their faces all the time. I get why stage lights are a thing now.
Yeah.
This is not helpful. But it got to the point after like an hour where I was like, all right, we're going to be getting done here soon. And I started playing a song, and I literally saw a couple people out there do this.
Oh, no. That is so painful.
That is, yep. Everyone who's worked on stage knows what that means.
Yeah.
Anytime now that you wanna move on and let us go.
Wow. That's
like
really
they were being
funny.
held hostage, right? And so that's a gig where it's over.
Yeah.
And they're still staring at you, and you have to walk off stage and like
Get the equipment. Yeah.
get your equipment. And I feel like, you ever seen that SNL sketch where Louis C.K. hires a clown for his foot? That's exactly. I saw that sketch and I was like, I have been that clown. Yes. If you haven't seen the SNL sketch where Louis C.K. hires Bobby Moynihan to be a clown at his birthday party, where he's by himself, I suggest it because I've never related to something so much in my life. I'm like, I'm the clown. And the only happy ending is that he's like, oh, I'm going to cut you up into little pieces now. Because after gigs like that, that's exactly what I want to happen. I'm like, if you guys could just end me.
Just end it
right now.
There's always like these moments and like things that happen at gigs where I'm like, I wish, like if I was given the opportunity to have a TV show, it would be based on being a music bingo. Like, it's just the situations that you get into are just so funny, and it's just silly at like I don't know if you've ever seen the show Baskets with Zach Galifianakis.
The clown.
I would want to do a Baskets aside, but music bingo.
Yeah.
But speaking of churches, though, it does remind me of this like one. It wasn't like in the church, but it was like their youth room, I guess.
Is this a music bingo or a comedy?
Music bingo.
Oh, great.
Music bingo. Yeah, it was definitely where the youths went to celebrate the Lord. And I walked in, they have 2 margarita machines. 2 margarita machines. And then there's a huge sign that's like no PDA. And it was a serious sign.
Teenagers, you got to tell.
They weren't giving out regular prizes either. It was all like prank gifts or whatever as the prizes. Yeah. And there were, count them, 3 The Joy of Sex books.
No.
3 handed out. And I was like, what kind of church is this? I could not believe it. They were loose.
I believe it.
Yeah, it was really the margarita machine. I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
The 3 groups of people that party the most, in my experience, are school teachers, nurses, and Catholics.
Yeah.
I do this one. I love that I can't say where because I don't want to implicate anybody, but I do this party every year for a bunch of Catholic school teachers.
Yeah.
And the kids are still roaming the halls, leaving school when we're in the other room.
Wow,
cracking the beers.
That's crazy.
They just close the doors and they're like, no, I'm off the clock. We're getting right to it. And kids are still walking out in the halls. I love it. I love it every year.
That's great. That's funny. I will say we are rounding down. It's been a fast hour. I could talk bingo all day. And if you know any of my friends, I don't really stop talking about it. I haven't.
I am thrilled.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't need anybody to talk about it. I am thrilled.
I just have genuine enthusiasm.
I'm thrilled that you like talking about it because I too, sometimes when I meet strangers and they want to talk and I get into a conversation about music bingo with them, especially if I'm like sitting at a bar.
Yeah.
I want to end because by the time I'm done with my thought, I want to be like, and that's if you let me, I'm just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
You need to start talking about
exactly.
you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
That is how I feel. I get that. But if you want to really quick, I'm of course we will plug like the website. People can book music bingo.
Oh, sure. Do not go to the website.
Do not go to the website?
I made the website so long ago.
I have a friend who's a graphic designer that you should really get in touch with. She will help you out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do send me the information because
I will send you. She's very talented.
I haven't updated it in forever. There is a girl who updates the schedule on there. The schedule is probably good.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm like, who goes to websites anymore? You know?
People do. I guess people email too.
Right.
But I'll send you her info.
Please do.
She's talented.
Please do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We'll do. And we'll plug all the info. Thank you so much for coming on today.
I was thrilled. Thank you.
Had so much fun.
Because I watch all of your clips and I'm just like, I look so comfortable in there.
It
I've
is.
Been on
It's cozy.
Podcasts. The other uncomfortable podcast, they always just they bribe you with beer.
Yeah, they're like, get drunk.
To sit on, like you said, a stool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to sit on a stool for an hour.
No.
So thank you.
A chair is nice. Thank you. All right. Thanks, Grace.
Bye.